Long walk, teeny talks. Long walk, teeny talks. Long walk, teeny talks. Long walk, teeny talks. Yeah!
Welcome back to Long Walk Teeny Talks. My name is David Hensley. I'm the owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, and I am joined today by my beautiful wife and co-host, Katie Bearden.
Hi, everybody. It's been a minute since we've had a time to talk.
Teeny.
Yeah,
people keep asking us what happened to Teeny Talks, and I keep saying it's our schedules. We're all over the place.
Yeah.
You've been jet-setting a lot.
I have. So in my 9 to 5, I work for the city of Charlotte, and I can't remember when our last Teeny Talk was. I want to say it was like April or March or whatever.
I think March.
But March marked a year of being locked down in this pandemic, and for what I do on the daily, it really opened up the floodgates for lots of new opportunities and people wanting to come to Charlotte to see it as a destination, and which also gave me an opportunity to book travel. So I have been out and about, as they'd say, and been meeting with clients and been taking some very necessary vacation for myself. So thanks for asking about Teeny Talks. We didn't forget you teeny weeny beanies.
Well, plus you were in a show there for a while as well.
I was in a little baby show. It only ran one weekend, and I was happy to be able to swing swords again for the city of Davidson and their walking Shakespeare show that they did. So it was a fun time had by all, and I'm ready to get back into it, and happy to be talking to you again.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm also happy. I'm also happy to be having a teeny talk. I haven't been doing shit but podcasting for the last couple of months.
No.
And we've been on a roll. So what are we talking about today, Katie?
Well, I thought that it was only appropriate since it is, while we're recording this, after the 4th of July. It's about the middle point of the month, I should say, of July. And that is when you and I start thinking about Halloween.
Mm-hmm. This episode is all about Halloween hype. Mm-hmm. We are 100% those people that start getting excited for Halloween in mid-July. Mm-hmm. For a couple of years there, we were making our list of horror movies to watch in October around this time. So in the past, help me remember some of the ones that we've done. I know that we one year we coordinated them by decade. Mm-hmm. And one year we went by genre. Mm-hmm.
One year we tried to go from A to Z and had a very difficult time.
That's right. We tried going alphabetically.
Yeah, we tried to go alphabetically. But now there's this really cool app that we found maybe 3 years ago.
This will be our 3rd year using it, yeah.
Yeah, so there's this app where, if you're just indecisive people like we are, you can put whatever you want to on a roulette wheel. And it's a digital wheel. And so we create it and plug in all the horror movies that we want to watch and digitally spin the wheel whenever we decide to start watching horror movies, and whatever it lands on, we watch. Sometimes we have time during our evening whenever we don't have rehearsal or other projects going on to watch too. This year, a lot of the staple movies are on there, like Psycho and Jaws and the slasher films, but we really tried to reach outside of the box of like what we would typically watch or what we might go see at the Airsley, which is a local theater not far from us that shows retro movies, so for about $5 a piece. So I was trying to think of horror movies this year that I had only seen previously maybe one time, and that I would like to either give another try because it really didn't do it for me, or I liked it so much but I still haven't gone back to it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about our wheel this year. Mm-hmm. And if anyone is interested in trying out the roulette wheel, it's called Wheel Decide. So you can look that up and you can make your own roulette wheel for whatever you would like. Mm-hmm. But this is also the magical time of year when we start looking forward to our Halloween decorations. Mm-hmm. And we wait impatiently for retail stores to start putting out their Halloween merchandise. We've been unsuccessful so far, but from what I hear, some Michaels stores have started putting out their stuff already.
I feel like our Michaels store, where we are locally, is kind of the bottom of the rung. I don't know how any of that corporate stuff happens, but like I feel like, and I think it's just because I'm anticipating it and I just want it to be there, but I can always count on the craft stores to have stuff in the aisles when I need it to be. And I think, of course, Halloween being one of my favorite holidays, I think it's always premature that they start shoving Christmas down our throats in like mid-October. But that's when all the Halloween stuff goes on sale. So, tit for tat there. But it gets really exciting when I just see empty shelves in a store, and I'm like, oh, soon.
Yeah, most major retailers, you got to wait until after the school supplies are all out. But with craft stores like Michael's, yeah, it should be any day. We need to go and check, see if they put their stuff out yet.
Well, yeah, and it gets to a point too, and if we have any other listeners that are resonating with this, please let us know who you are, because there are some times where I've gone into certain stores and I'm like, where are your Halloween or fall scents or decorations or candles or whatever, and they're like, it's September, and I'm like, Karen, I don't think you understand. Get out the marshmallow fluff candles before I cut you. That's not true at all, but I did have one person one time at Bath and Body Works, and it was after Labor Day. So after Labor Day, I mean, we might be premature talking about this in July, but after Labor Day, it is game on. And my gloves are off, but I was in Bath and Body Works and I was like, hi, I was looking for like your pumpkin spice, I'm that middle-aged white woman that I'm in it to win it when it comes to one leaf falling on the ground. I'm covered in 14 scarves and want to go to the Renaissance Festival. And she was like, it's September. And I wish I had a photo of my face in that moment.
Oh,
just
God,
to remember.
I wish you did too.
Like, daggers for this lady. And I was like, okay, well, I will be taking my business elsewhere. Thank you very much. In hindsight, was it overreacting? 100% yes, because it's fine.
You put her in the hospital.
I did. She's got another leg.
Well, yeah. And also it's appropriate for Halloween, even if she doesn't care.
Exactly.
You might have done her a favor.
Yeah, I created her Halloween costume for that year. She wanted to be a sexy cat, and now she's a limping zombie. So there you go.
And also every year afterwards. Yeah, that's what was infuriating about last year was...
Oh my God, I can't talk about last year. I was so upset.
Target's absolute refusal to put out the Halloween stuff until the absolute last minute.
Well, it's because of the COVID.
Well, yeah.
And like the one redeeming thing about last year is being able to be home during the holidays. And the detrimental thing about that was there wasn't any, especially for Halloween. Christmas, for whatever reason, we got our shit together. But for Halloween, our Target was so woebegone as far as like putting out any kind of... I collect the Sissel characters that light up, and those were never on the shelves. We were lucky to get anything. And our rule of thumb for people listening is we don't purchase anything new Halloween decor related until we have drug out everything that we have bought from last year. Because if you do that, you might over purchase, because I mean, they're just putting the same stuff back up on the shelves 9 times out of 10, but you might find that you've double purchased something that you bought for 75% off the last year. So that's kind of how we play it. And I think we've got one animatronic this past year, James Gordon.
Ah, yes, our son James.
Our son James Gordon.
The Gord.
Gordon. And I think that was like one of our major purchases because I will take work off if it falls on a weekday to stay home and try to find more Halloween decor before it gets super picked over. And there was just nothing last year.
Our Target didn't even fully finish putting their stuff out.
They didn't.
Like they put out the tags and had the hangers there and the empty spaces, but they just didn't bother to put out the rest of the stuff.
The stuff never came.
That we ordered our Target stuff online, which is how we ended up with our other son, Monkley. The
skeleton of a monkey.
Yes, Monkley, the skeleton monkey, who never got put up. He still lives in our home.
He's like our roaming gnome, but around the house, and I accidentally put him. So he's kind of like the elf on the shelf, but way better in our house. So David and I, especially since I've been working from home for the past year and a half, he would hide Monkley around the house and I would find him and it'd be like a hee ha ha ha, oh Monkley, kind of thing to keep us, in our sanity or in our insanity. And then I would do the same for David and I would hide Monkley in another spot. Well, one day I decided I'm going to be super clever and I'm going to hide Monkley in our ice maker. Well, I drink ice water like it's my last day on earth. So as I'm working from home, I go back and forth to the refrigerator, getting ice, getting water, whatever. I completely forget Monkley's in there. And all the while, I'm like, I think you even asked me at some point, you were like, where's Monkley? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I forgot.
Exactly like that, too.
I don't know. And I forgot I put him in there. And then when I remembered, or you lifted up the ice maker to get some ice for a whiskey or something like that, and you found him, and the coil that turns the ice cubes out of the ice maker had ripped poor Monkley's leg off.
Yeah, no.
And we had to have exploratory surgery and like a hip replacement on this skeleton monkey that we bought from Target. That's where we're at.
I never found him. I came home from work one afternoon. And
did I find him?
You found him and you stopped me.
I was so upset.
You were, and you were like, listen, before you see this, I have to warn you, there's been an accident. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
And you were like, yes, everything's fine. But I put Monkley in the freezer and his leg broke off. I was like, I'm sorry. Como se what?
Did you think it was one of the dogs or something?
I didn't know what the hell to think. And then you show me Monkley and his poor leg is snapped off. So yes, I got some craft glue and a screwdriver and took his crotch apart.
Yeah, he needed a full pelvic reconstruction. Like because he oh no, what's the word? Opposable? Opposable. Posing something.
Yeah, let's just call it posable. His joint.
Yes, his joint. So he's not just a standstill figure. He has working and moving hip, knee, arm, and shoulder joints, and his head and mouth open too.
So he always looks like he's screaming.
Yeah, I think we need, after describing him, I think we should take a picture and post it somewhere.
I agree. I think we should also this year get him tiny clothes.
Why? No, I want him to be naked.
I just think a skeleton monkey wearing shorts and a t-shirt is going to be hilarious.
Yeah, but then he looks like a man, though, and I want him to look like a monkey.
And we're going to have to cut a little hole in his pants for his tail to come through.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna delegate that to you. If you want him to have clothes, then you go for it.
I talked myself out of it.
Okay. So yeah, that's where we're at. I am obsessed, and we have different variations of Halloween decor in our house. When David and I first started dating each other, I think you had a Halloween party, and all of your decorations are very scary.
Hell yeah, they are.
and very gory. And
Yeah.
I love a touch of that. Like, I love a zombie head and I love all of that stuff. David is to the nth degree, whereas all my shit comes from Target. And I'm like, look at this little puff bird wearing a witch costume. Isn't it so cute? And you're like, yeah, spray it with blood. You know, like, it's very different. So I think in our years together, we've figured out how to coincide some of the more horrific decor items that we have into the more, I guess, fanciful decorations that we have. Because I think I remember having a conversation with you, like when we first moved into our house, like, David, we want kids to come up to the house. Like, we don't want to scare them away.
Well, if
we
they
want them to trick or treat.
If they want the candy bad enough, they'll come up to our door.
Well, you know, I say that, but the one time that we were sitting out on our porch, and it's not like you and I dress up for the actual trick or treating or anything. We just sit there and drink and say hello and whatever and play music or a movie or whatever. And the kids were scared of our candy dish.
Yes. Years ago, my mother bought me a candy dish that's just, the dish itself is in the shape of like a half a pumpkin.
Yeah.
And then on one side of it, it's got a skeleton with light up eyes and a little bobblehead on the top.
Yeah, it's not scary at all.
And children were scared of the skeleton and its like light up bobbing head.
Yeah.
We were like, we have a graveyard right here. Like for 3 years, I
Right.
turned our front yard to a graveyard.
There's a body bag on the porch, but you're scared of this dish?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't really decipher what kids find scary or not anymore, because, I mean, I think last year it worked out really well because we just put individual candy bags out on a table and it just kind of let people take whatever they wanted to and kind of kept our distance, and that worked out great, I think. We didn't have very many people, of course, but like, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, we were determined that these childrens were going to get their candy. Mm-hmm. One way or another, Halloween was going to happen, at least at our house.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, we put a table at the end of our driveway. We put individually wrapped bags on it. We stood at the other end of the driveway, and as kids came up, we just told them from a safe 6 feet away. I think it was black bags were chocolate, red bags were fruit flavored.
Mm-hmm. That was a huge hit too. That was really major because, I mean, it, like, not just the parents saying like, oh, thanks so much. It was the kids like, oh man, this is great because I only like chocolatey candy or I only like fruity candy, which blew me away. I thought,
Right.
you know, because I mean, you spend most of the time trick-or-treating, picking through people's stuff and getting
Right.
what you want anyway. So if it's all an opaque bag and I tell you that there's guaranteed chocolate in this one and guaranteed fruity candy in this one, you don't really have to make a choice except between two bags.
And
I
hell,
mean-
by the end of the night, we were like, yeah, just take one of each.
Yeah, I mean, you know, who are we? Like, you can take as many as you want to. I had gobs of them, but like, you know, it was the kind of thing where they appreciated having a choice. And, you know, some kids are allergic to peanuts and can't
Yeah.
have a lot of things. So, you know, just let them have that choice. And it went over really well. And I think, you know, apart from putting all the candy in the bags individually, it wasn't that much of a
Right.
chore.
And also, we couldn't do it last year because of COVID, but in years previous, we were also a hit with the parents because we'd bring a cooler out to the end of the driveway with us and be like, hey, you want a Halloween beer?
Give them a beer.
There you go. Here's a Bud Light.
Yeah, especially when Halloween falls on a weekday. And a lot of these parents are doing all that they can to get home, get their kids fed some sort of dinner, get them in their costumes, walk them around while it's still somewhat daylight into the early evening, because you have to remember in October it gets dark. It starts getting dark at like 5:30. So you've got maybe 30-40 minutes to get your itty bitties around, and you know, by the time they come to our house, we're like, I think we had Jell-O shots one year too, and they were like, "What?"
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, "This house is awesome."
Well, when we were loading our cooler in 2019, it was like, all right, grabbed a bunch of beers of different kinds, stuck them in there, grabbed a bottle of whiskey, stuck it down in there in the ice. And also, we've got all these Jell-O shots left over from our party. Fuck it. Into the cooler they go. Parents loved us.
Oh, yeah. Like, we don't mess around.
We
don't mess around. So I'm excited that we've gotten to a place to where more people have been vaccinated and that we feel more confident being around each other in group settings, because I really missed having people over for a Halloween party. And like, I feel like the tumultuous time that we went through as a country, as individuals last year, it made us want to start the process even earlier. So like whenever we did start I think we actually put a pretty significant dent in our Halloween watch wheel, because we started like
in July.
Did we start in July? I thought we started in August.
No, it was like last summer. It was like the last week of July when we were like, you know what? Everything's awful.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Spin the wheel. Mm-hmm. I think that's how we ended up watching Hereditary for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know it's, all chips are on the table or all cards are on the table when you break out your Spooky Town stuff.
It is such a struggle for me right now on July 14th to not go ahead and put my Spooky Town up.
And I think you put it up like in August last year.
I did, last week of August. So my Spooky Town was up for a full 2 months.
Yeah.
And
it was great.
Yeah, don't be surprised if I do it like in early August this time.
I don't mind that, because like I think that as it gets bigger, and maybe you should describe what Spooky Town is for people.
Oh, yeah. So for those who don't know, we mostly get them from Michael's, because like
We mostly get them at Michael's, mostly.
The Spooky Town Limax brand is Michael's specific, but it's like little tabletop pieces or little figurines. Like I have a light up trailer with a little skeleton out front grilling. I've got a haunted hotel. I've got a haunted bar that you got me last year. Yeah, the haunted brewery.
That's a great piece.
I've got these little houses that I got from a Dollar General, I think. Mm-hmm. I was just in there one night looking at their Halloween stuff randomly, and they had these little light up houses, $1 each. And I was like, well, this has to happen. Now I have a little neighborhood. So yeah, it's not like specifically that brand, although a lot of them are Spooky Town related, but now I've since started accumulating other pieces. So every year I put out a little table, and 2 years ago, I bought a bunch of foam board and some spray paint and some fake moss, and I layered the foam board in different ways to make it look like little hills, and some areas were lower than others and raised up. And then I sprayed the whole thing down, covered it with spray glue, and just started putting moss over there. And I made a little display, essentially, to put all the pieces on every year. And I've since outgrown it, so I think I may need to add to it this year. But yeah. That could happen very soon. I might break those out.
And I feel like a lot of people might equate what we call a Spooky Town with what a lot of people collect and call Christmas villages.
Yes.
I think Limax also does a huge spread of like Christmas theme things. So this is basically their Halloween version of whatever that is. And they've been really intricate these last couple of years about making their pieces animatronic and have like flashing lights and music, and it's been really interesting to watch and see what they come out with every year, which makes it fun to collect. I think you showed me what they have this year, right? Yeah. So
yeah, they've got some fun stuff.
Good pieces this year.
The Ghoulish Gourd.
The Ghoulish Gourd. That's what
the name
it's
of the
called.
brewery. Yes.
Oh my God. I knew, and it stems back to a very personal story that you have, but you can tell the story if you want to, but it's my personal, vendetta. I don't think vendetta is the right word, but just to help you build this spooky town to the biggest degree that you want it to be because of how you lost your pieces before.
Yeah, I mean, long story short, without getting too personal about it, I started collecting these, just like one or two a year, not to the degree that I have them now. Like back when I was in college, and they actually made the move out with me to Los Angeles. And when I had to move back here, it was the sort of thing where they were supposed to have gotten shipped back to me along with some of my other possessions, and that never happened. I never heard anything else about it. So all those things that I once had are gone now. So Katie and I have been rebuilding my spooky town a little bit at a time for the last 9 years.
Yeah. And, whenever you told me that story, it made a personal, commitment in my heart. I'm like, we're going to build the greatest spooky town that Rock Hill has ever seen. I'm going to buy him all the things. But it's fun to get those big pieces, but it's even more fun to find the smaller pieces, like the little skeleton that is grilling bones on his grill or whatever, or like two little zombies having pints of beer outside the ghoulish gourd, because you get the big pieces and then there are all these little miniatures that are very clearly added to, or you can add to those specific
Spooky Town is Lemax is very proud of their Spooky Town stuff, and I assume it's the same way with the Christmas villages, in that these start as low as like $3 or $4 for the small figurines and go up to like $160 or $200 for some of the bigger animatronic pieces. So
but they got people like us out there that are like, hey, those knuckleheads will go buy it. So I'm really looking forward to finding things, because I've gotten to a point now to where when Michael's and all these other craft stores start releasing their Halloween stuff, I can start to tell like when it's season over season that they're just putting the repeat stuff out there. And if something of ours breaks or whatever, we get a lot of rain in October, so if something is just like yucky and needs to be replaced, I'll buy another duplicate of what we had if I think it was fun. But I think it's strange that with the exception of Target and maybe At Home, that people just put out the same stuff every single year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Spirit of Halloween is definitely guilty of that. They get a lot of, they get new stuff every year, but for the most part, it's a lot of the same stuff every time, which is fine, because like you said, we need to replace stuff. Or last year I saw something that I wanted to get, but didn't end up getting it, and now I'm going to get it this year, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we go crazy, and I love it. Yeah,
and it's also having that conversation of like, we can do this, but where are we going to store it?
Yeah, that's been fun too. Eventually we're going to need a whole building dedicated just to our Halloween.
Oh, darn. Right now we have more Halloween decorations, lights, decor, indoor and outdoor, than we have any other holiday, which I'm proud and confident to say is an achievement. But I think our outdoor decor can level up, and I think you have plans to make that happen.
Oh, I have plans, sweetheart. We're going to make that happen this year.
Okay.
Well, Katie, if people want to reach out to you online or follow you online, where can they do that at?
You can follow me on Instagram at KTB Won't Stop Believing.
And you can follow me on Instagram at DB Hensley. So thank you very much for listening to us talk about our favorite thing, Halloween. If you'd like to keep up with Long Walk Productions, you can visit us online at longwalk.us, or you can search for Long Walk Productions and Long Walk Podcasts on Facebook. To see more of our original work or hear past episodes that are no longer streaming, you can follow the YouTube links in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening, and if you enjoy this show or any of the shows on this network, please make sure to leave us a rating and a review on whatever platform you are listening on.
Stay teeny, Halloweenies.